investment actually is not just about money, not it's about mindset, the mind shift. I think if you can start with Life ISA, which is a long-term type of investment. And the reason why it's actually on top of my list is because I found that there's a government bonus that is actually tied to this. Once you open it, you can only use that account to buy your first home.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Wisdom for Exploit with me, your host Bola Amore. Today we have another amazing topic, and this topic is under money matter. And the topic we're looking at today is you don't need to be rich to invest, a guide for students and young mothers. A lot of people believe that until you have so much money before you can invest. That is not true. You can start building from the lowest, then to the top. With me today is Pastor Yemi Nonayon. She is a financial management accountant. Together, we're going to look into this topic, and I believe you're going to be impacted and get some tips from this discussion. Welcome, Pastor Yemi. How are you faring, ma?
I am very well. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity and thanks for inviting me, Pastor Bola. I'm honored.
I'm delighted anyway. Finally, we're discussing this important topic. Pastor, I know as a financial management accountant and you're a pastor, you are wearing a little bit of, maybe some hats or many hats. What inspired you to pursue a career in finance, and what has kept your passion about it over the years?
Thank you, Pastor Bola. Once again, thanks for the opportunity. Right, I must say I'm figure-oriented, and that is not what actually drives my passion. I think my passion comes from problem solving, using my analytical skills to look at issues, problems, and see how we can actually resolve it. It's also what gladdens my heart is actually how you can put a story behind the figures you're looking at. Not looking right, what actually caused it, how can we build the story behind it. And then because of that, that is actually a span and then increased my journey within the finance circle or sector. And just to be sure, when I first started out, I really did not want to go into accounting. I wanted to be a nurse. Finding myself in this career is actually something different. And I've worked in different sectors. I worked with a management accountant, both in the central government, civil service, local authority, private organization, and also charity. And I'm currently working as a management accountant with one local authority as we speak.
Wow, that's wonderful. Wow, that's a good one. Thank you so much for that. Today, as I said, we're focusing on you don't need to be rich to invest. And this is a guide for students and mothers, young mothers, or people just raising up kids now. What do so many people believe they need to be rich before they can invest?
I would say for that type of question, I think I've fallen into that category before. I believe one of it is actually lack of information. It's not what people are saying now, I'm not going to take the plunge or take the risk. Fear of losing their investment is another key thing because of past experiences, because of the circle you find yourself in can also impact what you do. That's why you have people that would say, when I become a little bit financially better or in a better position, then I can start investing. But then you already lose time.
Wow. Circle, when you mention circle of friends, I know I used to tell people as well that you see the circle of people you are matters a lot. Sure. Because a lot of people think that we are having friends and all we know in this circle is to go party, to do things, you understand. What about if somebody find themselves in a circle of people that are high class? When I say high class, working class people, and they have this mindset that, I can't be saving now, I can't be investing now until I get this big money. Or some people, when you meet some people, they tell you until they win lottery. You understand? What about people that has that kind of mindset?
They have said that until they win a lottery, that is when they're going to start investing.
Some
Yes,
people used to say
yes,
that.
some people. That is actually has to do with mindset, to be honest, and the circle in which you find yourself. If you're coming from a background where I won't say they are tight-fisted, but they are quite cautious with money, that is actually indirectly changing the way you perceive how money works around you. And so if you find yourself in such a circle where it says, no, when I have money, that is when I'm going to start investing, that it's actually changing the way you believe. But if you are strong enough from within your own self, you should be able to say that, what is my goal? What is my target? What did I see growing up? Where do I want to be going forward? Investment actually is not just about money, not it's about mindset, the mind shift, the growing mindset or fixed mindset.
That's a good one. Mindset. What is investing and why is it important to start early?
Investing is about is an act of allocating money,
Okay.
space, or time over time in in a particular vehicle, investment vehicle, to generate income, to
Okay.
generate profits for the future. Investing is where your money actually is put to work. That is, I'm not sure that you've heard that first before, that says your money is, while you go to sleep, your money is working for you.
I got it.
Yeah, that's right, yes. So the first aim is that why do I want to invest? Why do I want to? There must be a goal. There's an objective behind that decision that you want to make. And that make you want to stick to it, come rain, come sunshine.
That's why it's important for us to start early.
That's what it's one of the reasons why you need to start early. It's actually because the long-term goal, you want to try and plant a pawpaw tree. You're not going to start a week before you wanted the pawpaw. You actually
Yeah.
have to, you're going to wait for it. You're going to plant the seed to grow, and then you're
Yeah.
going to wait for the time to harvest. You start early because you have a long or short-term goal.
Pastor Yemi, what about people that love to start early, but they don't have the resources? I know we're saying that you don't have to be rich to invest. People love to do, especially the part of the world we're living now. A lot of people, they have this mentality that I know I'm not getting enough. Everything I'm getting and investing it back into my bills, into my mortgage, my house rent, my electricity bill, and that. But they have the desire to invest. In that kind of category, what can they do?
That is going to be relative, especially on this side of the country, the western side of the world. I'm not going to say I do not relate with the person you just asked now. If financially you cannot start investing now, I would say just stay away for the time being until you can find yourself in that category. And another thing that is that if you think you can still do it, obviously when we cannot say this without putting God factor in it, to be honest. You got to trust God to say that what else can I do to be able to achieve this? He gave us power to make wealth. That is what the word of God tells us. Some people actually go into passive income. Some people, they tend to probably do something on the side. And no matter what they do, they put the money away. And I'm just going to cite a quick example. I was working full time. I got my children to look after. At the same time, I was doing the catering business over the weekend. So if anyone wants probably jollof rice or a formula over the weekend, I go and do the shopping during the week and I do it. So that money goes into different account for me because I know I wanted to start putting money aside. Yeah. Some people can develop the attitude, the habit of having a little bit of the passive income on the side if they can. If they can, yeah. I'll say yes.
That's a good one. Can students and young models really invest with limited income? I know you've mentioned that you use your own example that when the children were still young, you were doing like a side catering during the weekend and all that stuff. So students, we know, yes, they are on, especially in this part of the world we're in, they are always on what's it called, student finance. And some people, because of the course they were doing, they choose to do in at the university, they can't really say, I want to go and do side also to make me invest. So how can they navigate that? Because they're looking at, I'm getting out of university, I'm going to be in a debt, or a mother that she's like, she doesn't have that strength to do a little bit of side also.
Sure.
What else can they do?
All right. And
Are
thank
they
you
going to wait forever till the children grow up, or did they just have to say, oh, I'm going to graduate until I get work?
Okay. I'm going to be probably dropping in one or two personal experiences in this, if that's okay.
That's fine. That's very fine.
So the question is, can students and young mothers really invest with limited income? The answer is yes, it is possible. It is possible to do so. And I think I will start with the students first and young mothers. For young mothers and students, I think if you can start with Life ISA, which is a long-term type of investment. And the reason why it's actually on top of my list is because I found that there is a government bonus that is actually tied to this. Once you open it, you can only use that account to buy your first home. Obviously, it's got a cap to it that a home after, above certain amount, you cannot buy that and cannot use the Life ISA to buy such a, the value of that. But once you put £1,000 in that account, the government will be giving you £250 for every £1,000. You mentioned something about their student, they haven't got enough the money. But let's say now that they are able to do so, what it takes is that you just needed £83.33 every month to achieve only £1,000, and you get a free 250 in the account. That is the starting point.
So the 250 extra for that investment, is it monthly or yearly?
Is a yearly bonus. So if you put £1,000 probably in a year in that LISA account, you get £250 from the government for free. If you put 4,000 in it, then which means you have to look for £333.33 every month to be able to achieve the £4,000. This, if you put your heart on and your mind to it, I think I would say start from the investment at least £1,000, because then you have to deny yourself certain things to be able to achieve that. But I won't say go for the maximum. I would say start with the minimum. And that is for students and young adults. And another area that you can actually invest, actually look at savings accounts. This account that you can, like, it's actually for a fixed period, probably for 24 months, 36 months. You're actually getting £20 here, £10 there. Probably you do some side also over the weekend, and they're paying you the bare minimum, but you are still comfortable with the student finance, loan that you're getting. So this money, you don't want to waste it. So you just put it into that account. It's fixed, and they have a fixed interest rate that goes on that savings account. That's another for the students. Let's go back to the young mothers. You can also do the same, because you can actually invest when things are very comfortable, when the children are still very young. When they begin to get older, your expenses get a little bit more. So that is your cooling period. You can pull back. That is where the stocks and shares come into play. Because if you are putting them in the stocks and shares, they are actually yielding some interest for you. Even if you stop for some time, you just let go and say, oh, let's take care of the most important issue around the home, around the family. And when things are a little bit ease off, we can continue. I think when the children were quite young for me, I opened a savings account for them. And that is, and I just decided, and the first money that came to them was during their naming ceremony, and that was just enough for me, probably about £100 or something like that. That was what I did to open the account for them. So you can open a savings account as little as £20, £10, and it goes in there. You can even do a direct debit of £5 every month into that account. You go into McDonald's nowadays, and before you blink, you've already spent £30.
Exactly.
In a sitting. So, and then, so once you've made up your mind to actually say every surplus money that comes into my account goes into the savings account, that's another one. I think that's another one for junior ISA is also there. Their rate is quite attractive because of the age of the children you open the accounts for, junior ISA, and you have the bond as well, junior bond for young children. For young mothers, they too can actually open an investment account as little as £20, £25, and just leave it in there. As in when they have any excess money, they can just go in there. They don't have to set up a direct debit. They have the money just for it in there. But it's just that to actually quicken up or fasten the amount of yield that is return on your investment, we always advise that it would be nice if you can get something into that account every month. So you can start as little as 20 to 25 pounds.
That's good. That's good. Thank you for that info. What are some beginner-friendly investment options available today? I know we've mentioned the Life ISA, we've mentioned the stock and share, the Junior ISA as well. What are the other investment options available?
Right, I've mentioned those ones, and I will want to pinpoint this while we're still on this call. I'm not qualified to say that you should invest in this. I am not qualified to do that. I'm not a financial advisor on this platform. You have brokers in banks. When you call up this what's it called institution, investment institutions, they have experts on ground because they will work with your goal. They will work with your target. They will work with what you want to achieve in the next 5-10 years. And they'll be able to give you the investment vehicle that will help you achieve your goal. We've mentioned Life ISA, we've mentioned stock and shares. Another one that is actually on there is actually the index fund. The index fund is the FTSE 500, 100 that you can invest in. And you can actually go to your bank and let them know that you want to invest in this. You have the mutual funds. The mutual funds is like a pot where you have various investments, instruments or units. And when you invest into these mutual funds, the brokers will now allocate that fund, spread it across for you, and then you own a piece of the return on investment on this. You have also the the treasury funds, treasury bonds, which is the government treasury funds there. All those ones that are actually low risk, you have the high risk and you have the low risk. But I would say the government treasury bond are low risk, which means their return on investment is really low. But at the same time, you get your money back, which is the principal investment, and then a little bit on top of it. It's better than you not getting anything.
That's a good one. What is the difference between a savings and an investment?
When you have savings is actually cash accessible.
Okay.
Investment is non-cash accessible or limited cash accessible. Savings is when you actually put money away for rainy day, but it's also easily accessible. I mentioned something about students opening a savings account. You have a savings account that has a fixed interest rate. If you leave the money in there for the next 36 months, you get that 100% of the interest rate paid to you. But if you go in there and withdraw some of it, it actually is that you breach the contract, so you won't be getting the full whack of the interest rate. You have the savings account which is cash accessible, and then for the investment, it depends on the type of investment vehicle or instrument you are using. Once you get into there, they will allow you to invest in stocks for the 30% or 80% of what you want to put in, and you can keep the remaining 20% as cash. Or for raining there for emergency purposes, you can go in and then draw down on the cash when it's needed. That is within the investment. But the savings is actually cash accessible at all times. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. What investment account or product should beginner consider?
For beginners, I would say, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not qualified to
say.
I need to reiterate that all the time. But one thing I found when I first started getting into investments, a gentleman introduced me to a channel, which is Upgrades and Lansdowne, and then Vanguard. And I started with £25. As a beginner, there is nothing stopping you from starting with £20, £25 every month direct debit. It just sits in there. You go in there and check it. And you can actually, if you want to do it as direct debit, you're fine to do that. If you want to be going in there and putting your £20 every single month, it's all good for you to do so. Or if you want to say, oh, I'm going to be putting in for the next 36 months, and for the rest 24 months, I'm not going to put anything in, it's all well and good because your money is actually working for you while it's in that happening. I would say I've been with H&L and with Vanguard, and I've not regretted it.
So what mistakes should first-timer investor avoid? There is so much now. There is so much. All this organization, they talk about bonds, they talk about shares, they talk about so much. We're looking at for the first time, what mistakes should they avoid?
Right. I think the first one is actually financial advice from your taxi driver. It's not a good one. Taxi driver can give you an advice, which is good because that is what they're doing. But a quick turnaround, quick return on investment type of an advice, you want to run away from. That is actually a red flag. An investment with low risk and high reward, for example, having a ROI of 50K in 3 months is a red flag because you want to invest in long term. You want your investment to compound, and that is what you. And a platform advertising and over enticing offer is a red flag as well.
Yeah.
Get rich quickly is a red flag. You really want to run miles away from such. I was thinking that if your heart and mind is actually you want to invest in a particular vehicle, seek proper counsel for those who have invested in that type of investment. Call your bank, speak to them, they will signpost you appropriately. And even after they've already signpost you, there is nothing stopping you from doing your own due diligence.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. What about the one they will tell you to do to bring £10, you get £100 in a month?
I'm not qualified to tell you that that is good or that is bad. But as for me, I won't go for it.
Good. How can young mother balance investment while managing family expenses?
Minimum amounts that you can afford for the particular time is actually great. And you can also go for a cooling period if you think you cannot afford it. For young mothers, I would say start early. Let your money work for you. Investing in stocks and leaving it to yield its return due to compounding is great. Keep the money in cash for emergency. Build the habit of saving and investing, say probably 15 to 20% of your net income will help. Because one thing that we tend to realize is that when we get our income in, we'll sort out probably our tithe, or we want to sort out our family abroad or nationally.
Our bills.
We want to sort that out. And then there's going to be a time that you're going to look back and say that, should I use this for myself, or should I use it to just do what I've been wanting to do for a long time? Self-denial, delayed gratification, all that will come in. But once you've made up your mind to want to start investing, I will say go for it, but don't do it at the detriment of your family's well-being. No, not at all. I think there's going to be a time of planning that you need to put into this.
Yeah, thank you for that, Pastor. What role does compound growth play in building wealth?
Compounding is a good vehicle when it comes to investing. The role it plays is that it allows individuals to earn interest, number one, on their initial investments, and then you also earn interest on the interest you've already earned.
Okay.
So which actually, helps your investment to grow faster. And that's why investing for a short period, it's good because when the money is needed.
Okay.
But long-term investment is actually key. Because another way is that compound interest differs from simple interest because compound interest actually calculates interest on the principal. And then previously earned interest is also compounded. Can you say he actually just increased whatever you've already put into the investment originally? That is actually how it helps our investment to grow, which is quite different from you putting your money in a bank account and then you go back there, it's still 2,400. The following day, the following year is 2,403 pence. All that. So it's different from simple.
Okay. A question is coming to me now before we go to our another question. I know you said so many times, Martin, you say you're not qualified to say that. How do you advise someone as a financial management accountant about, is a big question, about Bitcoin? Should people invest in Bitcoin, silver, and what other one they are saying now? Gold. Yes. So should people invest in Bitcoin, and how can they go about it? Because I've been a victim of that. And I know a lot of people as well, they've been a victim of that, whereby we have this, they said this company, we invested in it, and at the end of the day, it went down the drain. What will you say to that? Investing in Bitcoin, because that is what is going on in the age we're living now.
Sure. I would say I'm quite reserved on those at the moment. So I won't be able to give you a 100% response on it. And plus, I'm not qualified to tell you that this is the way.
Financial management.
Yeah, so what I would like to know is that at the moment, if you see anyone that is being successful in investing in all this investment vehicle, let them talk you through their journey. Due diligence matters on this case. You need to do your own due diligence. Gold is something that a lot of people are promoting right now. Even if you buy just a tinge, or it depends on the ounce, the weight of that, you just buy a piece of that gold, not just the block, just a piece of it. Over the years, definitely it brings its own return. Bitcoin, I haven't got any information on it, and the stories I've heard about it has not actually got me to be interested in this type of investment. I tend to stay away from it. But everyone should do their own due diligence. It's key in doing it. But if you have seen anyone that have invested in all this vehicle, let them take you through it step by step. And if you lose money at the end of the day, it is your personal decision, because you've already been educated before you invested in it.
That's fine. How can parents teach children healthy money habits from an early age, especially in this digital age? In those days when you are going to church or you are going anywhere, they give you money. Or let's even say they are going outside, they give you like a normal currency. But now that we're in the digital age, everything is online. If you want to do your bank this, everything is online. You want to pay something, you use your phone. You don't even need to use your contactless card. You can just touch your phone and everything is sorted. How can parents teach healthy money habits from an early age?
Right. No matter how digital we have been, which we are not getting away from it. We're actually going to be going deeper into it. Traditional way of teaching our children about money matters still is very close to my heart. And I think I'd like to start from there. No matter how digital things are, when you go into the store today, you still pay at the checkout. You still scan your items and you pay at the checkout. One of the places you can teach them how to actually spend wisely is take them shopping. When you go shopping and then you go to the sale where they're actually selling 3 for 5, 2 for 5, that kind of a thing. You want them to make the decision: is buying the individual item or buying 3 for £5 or buying only 1 for £1.50 is the best. Help them to do the calculation. My husband tends to do that a lot for our children. They won't do it, So they're able to calculate whether it's actually it's a marketing strategy to get people to buy more or to get people to buy only what they need. Shopping is even when you're shopping online, if you want to let them sit next to you. I've seen this cloth, they want me to buy 3. I only needed 1. Tell me, why should I buy 3? The first thing is that do I have the space for it? Number 2 is actually, does the price worth it? If I calculate how much does one of the dresses cost? And if I'm buying 3, have I budgeted for it? All that you're bringing them in and helping them to understand the reason why.
That's a good one.
Delayed gratification is actually coming in here as well. It's teaching them that I don't need it for now. I only needed 1. And that is why you have passive buyers and active buyers. or impulse buyers.
That's a good one. We need to talk about that passive buyers, impulse buyers, and active buyers.
So you want to let them know that I need it now. I need it, but I don't need it now. So you can delay it. That is passive. But the active or impulse is actually the sale is good. The money is good. Though I don't need the cloth now, but I can wear it in future. Did you budget for it? I'm just going to drop this one in right now. When the children were quite young, when we go into the store, before we enter the store, I'll tell them, I've got only £20 in this box, and I'm coming to buy 4 items. Please don't add to my shopping list.
So wonderful. You when me I enter that shop. That is why I said I'm not a window person. Window shopping person. Because if I tell you I want to go window shopping, I enter into that shop, I'll get something to buy. Because I'm thinking, you see, when I go shopping, for me personally, I'm thinking that we don't have this at home. Oh, there's only one of this we have at home. We need one more. We need 2 more. I'm a kind of person whereby you don't want to go inside the kitchen and you need something and you say, oh, it's not there. Then I start rushing out and go and get it. That's my one. What about people like me now? Are we impulse?
So you needed, you just mentioned something that there is actually a reason behind why you wanted to buy more than one.
Exactly.
Because when you needed it, you don't have to rush back out to go and buy. Unless
Exactly.
it provides. But there are some, no matter what you do, once they enter that store, they're going to come out with bags and bags and bags. And when they get home, they're thinking, oh, actually, I've got one of these that is similar. Especially the color. The shoe does not match the dress. The dress does not match the shoe. This is actually not to judge anyone, but there is a time that one has to pull back to say, because this question is about teaching our children how to have a healthy money habit. I used to ask my young adults, do you need it now? Now that they've grown up, they're now telling me the same thing. When I take them shopping, I say, oh, this is nice. They'll look into my eyes. Do you need it now? They're actually saying back what I've already said to them. It's not that they won't go on their spending spree when they wanted to do that. They don't do that. But at the same time, you wanna pull back and tell yourself that I'm gonna hold back. It's gonna require discipline. But they are watching you. And that is what I'm trying to, that is your way of teaching them, because they are watching you. They are watching you. And then save as well. Allow them to start saving when they're quite young. I believe you and I will still remember the piggy bank when we used to have when we were small. During the period when they give you gifts, you go and put it in there, and you'll be watching that piggy bank until the next Christmas. Just to say, make sure that when you get there, your money is still intact. Or sometimes you just go and go behind your mom and just open the side of the box and just take out probably 10p, 20p to just spend on yourself. That is encouraging them to save. And I think I got that when we were growing up. And I came to this country all by myself, just myself and my brother. He actually encourages that drive, that interest we grew up with, and it just told me, anytime they give you income support, put it straight into your savings account. Don't touch it. 6 years down the line, that advice worked for me, because when I needed a huge amount of money for my relative to come in, that money was available for me, because that habit has been built right from childhood.
That's a good one, Pastor Yemi, but I have a question now. You mentioned somebody like an income support. You won't be on income support, you're on job seekers allowance, because
then it used to be income support if you're actually a British citizen. And
if you are married, it's income support. If you are single, it's job seekers allowance.
All right, maybe now, then
okay, they call it, because then I remember they used to call it income supports for married. If you are married, you can't work.
Yes.
But if you can work, you're looking for a job, you'll be on job seekers allowance.
Yes.
Okay, so the question now is that somebody on job seekers allowance or income support, how is it going to be possible for somebody on, anyway, they don't call it income support anymore, we'll call it universal credit now.
Universal credit, yes.
Yeah, we'll call it universal credit. Someone now on universal credit, and they are getting the little. Anyway, you can't compare what you are getting from universal credit. God bless our government, they are helping. But you can't compare what you are getting on universal credit to your normal salary if you are working. Even some people believe that when we started, you talk about circle, because some circle of people back then in the late 90s, early 2000, they will tell you they will sit on that benefit. They will not go and look for job. You understand? And not now that they are pushing people to go and work now, even though you've been there. How can such people in that category invest? Because the little they are getting is inside that little. They will pay the rent, they will pay the bill, and everything is gone. Even though they will pay part of their house rent and all that stuff, council tax is there, other bills are there. How can they save?
That if they want to go on the investment route while they're still on job seekers allowance inclusive for universal credits, it's going to be a tough decision to make. And it comes from your mindset. It's going to be a tough decision to make that no matter what happens, I'm still going to put something away. Well, then probably you can actually just curtail whatever you've been investing before. Probably you're doing it every month. You've started doing it every month. Then you can cut back to probably bi-monthly or every quarter. Or you want to totally cut off probably for a season while you are adjusting yourself financially. That is what I will advise here. But if you still, your mind is still on it, but don't do it to the detriment of your health or your exercise. No, don't.
All right. If you could give one advice of financial advice to students and young mothers, what would that be?
That is a very, when I saw that question, I told myself, as I'm going to talk really from my heart.
That's fine. Just talk from your heart.
Yes. I've seen so many things among ethnic group, our culture, people of the same culture now. It's good to really have a good time, especially after after a 1 week work. It depends on how work was or how work was during the week. But one thing I don't subscribe to is when people get out of the way, inflicts themselves with the fact that I can't be the odd one out among my mates, and so force themselves to buy because their group are buying. That we need to watch out for that, because initially, if they force you into it, it was a choice. That choice, you have to make that choice to relax, and in order to be able to get yourself on the right track. And the second thing is actually looking for ways to get good bargains when it comes to food. I'm not saying that anything that is rotten on the shelf is what you go should go and no. But what are the good things actually going on in Sainsbury's, in Marks and Spencer's? Note the shops that actually I'm mentioning. Sainsbury's and Marks and Spencer's. Originally, they were sold for £20 and you can get them for £5. Why not? So high-end items that you can actually get for giveaway prices. Good quality food, buy for less. Clothing, wait for the season when there is sale. During the summer period, you don't buy summer clothes when the summer season is about to wrap up. And you buy clothes when winter season about to wrap up. That is you going for good bargains. Household items, you watch the sale. This item is sold for £1,000. They're about to be phased out. Why not go? And I just thank God for my husband then when our children were still in secondary school. One of the shops were about to close down, and it was actually planning 6 years ahead. When they get into university, they're going to be needing a microwave, a toaster, a kettle, plates, cups, and they bought them during the clearance.
Wonderful.
Giveaway prices. When the time came, all we needed to do was because we had a place to store them. Don't get me.
Because people that doesn't have a place to store is going to be
that. No, they can't do that. We had that. We were just going into the store and we're just giving it to them because we already had it. You say, what of trips abroad? You want to go to Mallorca? Fine. Everybody needs that break. We all need that break. What do you want to do? You want to plan ahead. I'm talking from my heart now. It's not scripts now.
No. That is good to talk from the art. It's good to say things from the art. That's the good one.
So you want to look at the holiday. It's originally it's going to cost you £5,000, and you want to say, I haven't got £5,000 for this holiday, but I can save towards it. And this £5,000 probably is actually maybe not half board, probably inclusive, all inclusive, which is actually even good. Rather, you cut down on buying food outside, or you haven't got £5,000, but you can save towards it. Or you can. I'm not going to go for the full board or full board.
Yeah.
I'm going to do half board actually, because when I go for my breakfast, I'm not going to be around for the lunch. I'll just take a snack with me. I'll make sure I am back before the evening time. You're cutting down on cost. All that. So you go for good trips, good holidays, but at a bargain. Practice delayed gratification, which I've already said several times, but not to the detriment of yourself. If some actually just have an habit of just being stingy to themselves, that also has its own impact. You see good things, you say, oh no, I'm not worth wearing such a thing. It's not good for me. It's the money that is not good for you. It's not that the clothes is not good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
The price, and you're thinking, no, for me, that is not the price. And so practice saving surplus income, not dipping your hand into every little money you have. And also, do not be guilt-free to finance every problem that comes on your plate. Someone will say that you're not the savior of the world. Don't die.
What about in an emergency when you say we should not dip hand into our savings? What if an emergency comes, or maybe somebody lose their job and the saving, they have to start spending from the savings, isn't it?
Yeah, they have to, but that is why the savings are there for raining day, isn't it? Are there for the raining day.
But not for today.
And I think another thing that I have seen people do is that they walk into the bank and they go and take a loan for holiday.
That one is a no.
I walked to be precise, I walked into this particular bank and I sat down there for another thing, and the man said, oh, we've got this deal going on. We can give you this holiday, invest money for your holiday, and then you just pay us back. I said, how much am I going to pay you back after 24 months? It's just about £500 on top of what you wrote. I said, for free, I give you £500. And I kept quiet and I looked at him straight in the face. Will you do that?
Exactly.
And the guy said, no, I won't do that. I said, thank you. Can I leave now? No, you wouldn't do that. You take money out for him because that money is gone forever. There's no return on investment. You enjoyed yourself. That is why it's good to plan ahead to say that, okay, if I'm going to go on this holiday, probably I buy the holiday, probably there was a sale for that particular holiday as of that time. I use my credit card, but I make sure that every month I don't get an interest on that credit card. I'm paying in full. I'm not missing any payments in a period. I'm paying that. So by the time the holiday comes, it's fully paid off.
It's true. It's true. Thank you so much, Pastor Yemi. And to our audience, that is the truth of the matter. I tell people you can get loan to do investment, to buy property, to do other stuff. But when it comes to buying all they call it liability. And one of the things that falls into category of liability is car. Because once you go to the dealer and drive that car out, the worth is gone. Then number two, we're talking about the holiday as well. Is the holiday is good, but what I normally do personally, maybe it's gonna encourage somebody out there. If you know you're going on holiday in August, made up your mind by January. There are deals where you are going to in August that the sales is about 4,000. 3,000 in February after New Year, end of the month, end of New Year, from February before Easter period, where you are going to that will cost you, family of 4, family of 3, that will cost you £4,000. When you book it that time, you get it for 2,000 something. Because people believe that in August, anyway, we all believe that August is the high season. From July, actually from the middle of June down to last week in September. Those are high season. So if you are planning to travel, you plan ahead, you plan months before you go so that you won't be paying double. And if you can't travel this year, it's not by force, you will go next year. You don't have to be rich to start investing. 1% is enough. You can start with 1%. A little drop of water makes an ocean. So to my wonderful guest, Pastor Yemi, thank you so much for the insights you've shared with us today. And that is that from us now. And bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Pastor.